You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Jen, and we're two boss babes sharing our journey and inspiring you along the way.
And today, this episode is coming out the very end of December. So this is like our end of the year episode, and things are slowing down for us. So we thought that we would make an episode all about our to-do list things for the slow season, since we're getting into that era. And yeah, just if you're kind of in a pickle and you're like, I don't really know what I should be doing. I do this full time. Like, here are all the things to keep your business going and grinding and thriving and get more clients. Because engagement season is around the corner. So that's it.
Yes. I just want to give you a friendly reminder that if you are in a weird season right now, you are not alone, because we are right there with you. Mm-hmm. As Megan just explained, we are just coming off of a crazy third year for both of us. Yeah. And this was definitely probably the craziest, but that's what happens. You just keep evolving in your business, and you know, if you want to get bigger, you keep getting bigger. And I think that's the path that we're on right now.
Yep.
But I think this season was kind of a learning curve on how we're going to do better next season.
Yeah,
for me anyway.
Definitely.
I think you can attest to that too.
Definitely.
But yeah, so we wanted to kind of share some tips and tricks and things that we have put on the back burner during our busy season, because we can't do it all. But now we have a little bit of a slower time, and this is really the season where we are going to work on our business, not in our business as much. But I also want to quickly talk about something that really exciting that just happened. So I did my first, I was a keynote speaker at an amazing women in business event. It was a women entrepreneurial networking event, and it was put on by Business Socialistas, a woman named Ashley. She asked me to be the keynote speaker, which I did not know I was going to be the keynote speaker at first. Yeah, I thought I was going to be on a panel. And when I said yes, I totally thought I was going to be on a panel. And she's like, no, like, you're going to be the keynote speaker. I'm like, okay. She's like, isn't this what you wanted to do? I'm like, yeah, but, so totally out of my comfort
exciting.
zone.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So
great.
It was amazing. And I just had to share, like, this was something I wanted to do for a little while now. I was asked to be a speaker actually last December was my first like actual one, like talking about my story, sharing my story. And after that night, I just walked out of the space. People were coming up to me and they were like, your speech totally inspired me. I loved what you said. I really needed to hear it. And I was like, wow, like people do this to me, and now I'm doing this to other people. And I was like, okay, this fills my cup. This fills my soul. Like, I want to do more of this. So my goal this year was to do 3 speaking gigs. This was my third, and it was the one where I was literally on a stage by myself. Like,
that's so exciting.
If there was 170 women in the room.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Cool.
I didn't know there was going to be that many either. But it was, I just felt like I was talking to friends, and it was amazing. So anyway, the point I'm getting at with this was something I kind of manifested for a little while and didn't really know how I wanted to go about it. And now moving forward in my slow season, this is definitely something that I want to get into a little bit more. So anyway, I remember putting it here on the podcast and being like, I want to be a public speaker. I want to do this. And here we are. It's happening. I know. So, all right. So to get into today's topic.
So motivational. My goodness.
Yes.
That's so exciting.
I love it. I loved it. I really did. I walked off and I was just like, yes. And one of Liz with Lucky Share, she was there and always such an amazing supporter, but she called me the next day and we were going to debrief, but I was severely hungover actually. I hate saying that because I don't get hungover anymore because I don't really drink like that, but I was just so nervous that at the end I drank a lot of wine. But anyway, I didn't get to answer, so she left a message. She was like, I just want to tell you how proud I am of you, and this is your thing, like this is your jam, and like I needed to hear it. So thanks, Liz. Okay. Tangent. Okay, so I want to share a few things. We'll kind of go back and forth, I think, during this episode. But one of the first things that I really, really want to work on, and I think I've said this for the past like 3 years, is my website. This is something that I always say I'm really going to do during off season, but we had an amazing speaker on our podcast recently who talked about the whole SEO and how to like put your pictures certain names so that when people, you know, for example, Smith Gardens, which is a venue that we love, you know, if I have a photo there and it's not labeled Smith Farm Gardens or Smith Garden Farm.
Smith Farm Gardens.
Okay, I said it right.
Yep.
people can find me more.
Yeah.
I want to do more weddings there.
Yeah,
So
just
if they're-
having the picture of it, like, that doesn't really tell Google that much. It needs to have like the keywords so that when people are searching for it, they actually find the picture that you posted.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so stuff like that, like my photos are all saved as like XYZ 1 2 3 4 5 6 like XYZ 7 8 9 10.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that I really want to work on, and that's really important for like Google to recognize your business. And
Yep.
you know, your website should have, I'm going to use mine, the Vintage Horse mobile bar, Connecticut mobile bar, Connecticut bartending. Like, it should have all of those keywords that if someone is typing into Google, you know, picture yourself as one of your clients. What are they looking for when they're searching for you? For me, for example, they're probably looking up CT bartending, bartenders in Connecticut, Connecticut bartender. If they're up to the speed of mobile bars, maybe they're typing Connecticut mobile bars, but you want to be like even bigger than that, like broader than that, I should say. So whatever your business is, you should really be having those keywords on your website so that when people are going on to Google or whatever it is that like the main platform now? I mean, it always has been, but aren't there like other search engines?
Oh, it's the main one. Yeah. Bing.
Okay.
I think that's
whatever
it.
you're looking at, but let's just use Google. You want to put yourself in your client's shoes. And if you were a client looking for a photographer or a mobile bar, like, what are you searching? And make sure that those keywords are on your website so that you're brought up before your competition on
And
Google.
that was such a good point about using terms that are broad and like kind of beginner and like basic terms that you think somebody who, because you know, you and me, we've been 3 years in the industry, so when I think of photographers, I think of light and airy versus moody. But if I were a bride and I knew nothing about photographers, I wouldn't know that light and airy is the way that I would describe that, unless you do like a little bit of extra, you know, digging and research. But if it's somebody's first day Googling photographers, they're probably going to be looking at like, I don't know, bright or like, I don't know, like more basic terms. So that was a good point. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And
use different terms all the
it's
time
things
too.
that like I never even realized. Like, I had no clue when I was making my website that I need to think about how I just thought like you type in the Vintage Horse, but like, how are people going to find me that don't know about me yet?
Yeah.
So those are ways that you can go on the back end of your website and really like clean it up, updating your photos. You know, I am blessed that I have a lot of content this year, minus losing my phone and losing all those pictures, but we're not going to talk about it. But I have a lot of photo shoots that I did.
Yeah.
The point of a content day and a photo shoot is to be able to use them. I think I've updated a few pictures, but I need to update the photos on my website, like more than anything. Even like my About Me page, I think some of the photos, well, some are still yours and they're always going to be there. I actually just sent someone like a bio about me, and it's still one of the main, like the first pictures. I know you would critique yourself on it because it was our first content day ever. And I know you've changed your editing style since then, but like, you just captured me in such a great way.
Thanks. Well, I have 2 more that I'll be working on too, and that's something from my list is like all of the content days and stuff like that. Like, I have to do all of my client work first before I can do all the work I did for free or for friends or for just myself. So the big event, I have photos from that I need to get through. The shoot we did with the 2 other photographers, Deirdre and Misa at Smith Farm Gardens, I have not opened those at all because I need to do all of my clients' work first before I can do the work that I paid to shoot. Yeah. So, anyway, you have 2 things coming your way from me in slow season. So
exciting. So that was like the first thing that's really been on my mind. Is just really
too.
updating website and kind of just like doing that behind the scene that I really couldn't touch throughout the year.
Me too. It just takes so much time. And when we talked to Jess. When she was on for the podcast and talking all about SEO and websites, she convinced me that I need to switch platforms because we both use Wix, and she was saying that Wix is like, I don't know if I'm in frame right now. Sorry, I'm just gonna scooch over. My dog is like laying on my lap under all these blankets. It's cold out here, and she's like taking up a lot of the couch. Anyway, I'm switching my website to Show It, but have I done anything for that? Absolutely not, because I'm still like editing all my client work and they need to come first before anything else in my business. So, once all of that is finished, I'm going to switch to Show It. I'm going to renumber all my images. I'm probably going to start to blog, do like a blog post once a month or something, or like maybe make some that I can post later, maybe like in the busy season, make like 10 blog posts and then like do one this month, 2 months go by, do another one, 2 months go by, do another one, so that over the year I can kind of like push them out when I don't have time to edit them. And that's kind of the same with the podcast, is like when we don't have as much work to do in our businesses, we'll probably record more so that we can have like, I don't know what the word for is it, like
basically just like a now I'm drawing a blank too.
We can have like a like just
awkward
a lot
pause.
of them to upload later.
Our brains are fried.
But the same goes for social media too. Like one slow season thing that I think everybody should do is work on their social media and like come up with like a posting schedule, or make a bunch of drafts, or come up with a bunch of captions or topics or things that you should be posting about that you haven't really had the chance to, or that you haven't really, whatever. Just like sit down and think about, if somebody were to, crack open my Instagram right now, are they seeing what I really want them to see? And if the answer is no, then come up with a couple of posts that you can turn into your pinned posts and, build that up a little bit and maybe post consistently and like come up with a schedule there. So social media for sure. Blogging, Pinterest is a big thing. I recently worked with somebody with my Pinterest, and she showed me like how to do all of the keyword searching and what to put in the caption and how to tag everything to my website and all of that. And I did it probably for like 2 weeks consistently. And then I was like, I don't have time for this. And she told me it was going to happen too. She was like, you could pay me and I could do it for you, or you could just like learn how to do it from me and do it yourself. I was like, I can do it myself. And then did it for like 2 weeks. And I was like, I can't do this. I don't have any time. But now that I'm starting to have time, I'm going to go back into Pinterest. And then once you make your blogs, pin your blogs, because that helps your SEO too. If you have a lot of keywords that are in your blog, that helps your website. And that's kind of the point of the blog, is to have like new things being posted on your website, because Google will recognize like, oh, this website isn't old. This one's new. People are interacting with it, and the way to get people to interact with it is for them to find it. And so Pinterest is just another place for people to find your website. And I don't know, you go. That was a lot.
Yeah. No. Another thing that, just sticking on the website topic, is so as you know, myself and my co-host host the big event, which is a event where it's almost like an industry night out for people, also people who are looking to host events and weddings and whatever it may be, to find local vendors. So we've now compiled a list of all the local vendors, and perfect example, I just had a bride and groom book with me. I think I was one of, besides the actual venue, which I think is in their backyard, I was one of the first vendors that they booked. They haven't even got the caterer yet or anything. They don't even have their tent guy yet. And they asked me for recommendations. And I quickly was able to give them Adam with Nutmeg 10. I know he's amazing. I know he goes above and beyond for customers. And it just felt like prideful to be able to recommend someone that I love, can work with, know that they're going to do a great job. And then the day of, like, I already have a connection with other people.
Yeah.
So I think that that's like a huge thing, is building your network, building your vendor list, and being able to share that with clients, no matter what industry you're in. I just think it's a win-win for everyone. So that's the last kind of thing. Do you have one more you want to talk about, or are we kind of done on website?
Yeah, I think I'm good on my website. Just that it's a really good chance for you to refresh everything. Oh, and another thing to kind of go off of that is, while you're refreshing your website, do a branding session with a photographer.
Insert Meghan.
Hi. No, I don't really do branding sessions.
Will you?
I mean, for you, I would.
I love you.
But there are photographers that specialize in branding for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so they like really know what's up. They really know the kinds of photos to take. And I've done them before, like for friends. I did them for Wild Lily, who was on before. So like I've done them before, but I really just niche down to weddings, because there are photographers that really specialize in it. So it's the same for like family sessions. Like if a family I knew reached out to me, like, would I do it? Yeah, probably. But I'd rather have them like work with somebody that really does it and does it well. Like I don't really,
enjoy. Sorry.
But like the more practice you have at something, the better
100%.
you are at it. So
100%.
but it's a great time for that. So if you have never done a content day before and you don't have photos like that, or if you want to spend an hour with a photographer, like just you, and really get the shots that you want, versus a content day, it's kind of like you get what you get. Like you can ask for things, but like the photographers are paying to be there. They're not being paid. So like there's no guarantee you're going to get what you're asking out of them. But if you're paying a photographer for a session, like they will give you what you ask for sure. So that's like a good opportunity for that and a good time to do that while you're refreshing your website, like redo your About Me page. And I don't know. I just think that's a good idea, but I'm a photographer, so I'm a little bit biased. My last note, and this is probably a big one that we can both discuss all of the little things, but do all of the things that you've been meaning to do throughout the year that you're just like, oh, I don't have time, or I don't know how, or I don't know who to contact. This is the time for that. So if you don't use QuickBooks and you don't really do any bookkeeping throughout the year, this is your time to go back, find all your receipts, and do it now. Things like that. For me, it's going to be revising all of my guides. Like I have guides for clients that inquire with me just about me and about my services and the pricing and all of that. But it's pretty out of date. Like I've added things that I offer that isn't in the guide this year. And so I need to spend a lot of time revising those kinds of things and like building up my business on the back end. Is there anything like that that you feel like you need to do?
Excuse me. Yes, I do want to get into more coaching because I think that is going to help segue me into the public speaking that I want to do
for
eventually.
Sure.
So I really want to I have two options right now. One is hourly one-on-one coaching calls, and the second is a 4-week, almost like a coaching session. I've only done that once, and I loved it. And I don't feel like it was set up for success for me. I felt like each week I was struggling with new topics. It was only one person. So again, it wasn't my forte. Like it was not my thing, but I really enjoyed it. And even at the end, like the other mobile bar that I worked with was like, this was amazing. I needed this. Like you totally set me up for success. Like, and everything was great. So I was like, oh, I love this. But the challenge I have is I really can only do it during my off season.
Right.
So I feel like I didn't set myself up right now to like have people know that I do this or want to offer it. So I think next year I'm going to really like focus on that and have a better game plan for it. And almost do like a Black Friday launch for it.
Ooh, okay.
You know what I mean? Because like Black Friday is entering into my slower season.
Right.
So things that I'm like thinking of for the future. I think that that's also like a good thing. Like one of the things that I want to work on is like debriefing what worked well this year, what didn't work well this year, and what I can make better for next year. Yeah. So that's like something.
You know, it might be a good idea. If you kind of, or just in general, whoever, if you make like a survey for your clients, like always ask them to do reviews. Yep. So that's something that I should probably do in my slow season is ask people to do reviews because I don't really ask. But another thing could be to make like a questionnaire kind of thing.
I just want to say one thing about the reviews because maybe everyone knows this, but maybe not. So I couldn't figure out how to share like a link where someone can just like write a review for me. I found it like one time and then I always went back to copy like that like link. Yeah. But anyway, if you own or if you sign on to your Google, like as your business and you go to reviews, do you know this? Yeah. Okay. Well, if anyone doesn't know this, Megan knows everything.
No, go ahead.
So if you go to like, where someone writes you a review and you click on that, it says like share reviews or get more reviews, I think it says. And you could copy the link right there and then send that to your client. So that's what I've been doing right now is just saying like, and I've actually been pretty good. Like I send a thank you follow-up email for the most part after an event. And I just say like, thank you for everything. Thanks for having me. And I use the terminology like I'm looking to, I forget how I say it, like in a professional way, not like I want to get more reviews on Google, but something like I want future clients to be able to find, this is what I said. I want future clients to be able to find me on Google, and I would really appreciate if you could give some positive feedback. And you always want to say positive feedback because not that a client that you're asking to leave a review is probably going to give you a bad one, but you just want to like remind them that it's like 5 stars or nothing. Like I had one client give me 4.5 stars and it literally, I think I had like 14 5-star reviews, and then she was my one 4.5, and it brought me down to 4.5 just because of her one review. And everything was amazing and everything was great. But she, I think I just pulled. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think you just your headphones.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, edit.
Keep going.
So anyway, ask for the reviews, but just remind them that we would love your positive feedback or whatever it may be. One of those.
I don't know. I feel like it's fine. The 0.5, I like that's still like a very, very high number.
Oh, no.
4.5.
No, I'm like 5 or nothing. No, I don't know why. I guess that's the striving for success in my brain.
I guess.
I was so mad.
No, but it was a
So
good
mad.
review though.
Yeah, but she gave me 4.5.
Did she say why
No.
why about the 0.5?
No. And I
Oh.
didn't ask because I was so angry.
Yeah. That's interesting
We
that she
could go-
didn't say like the one negative
No.
thing that was in it.
No. Maybe she was just like one of those reviewers where like you never give 5 stars. You know that there's some people that do that?
Yeah.
Like no matter what, you can never get a 5-star review from this person. There's people out there like that. Don't be that person. Anyway, it was in my first season and I was really
Aw.
bummed about it. Yeah, I know it's not a bad, like it's not 1 star,
Yeah.
but it just, I'm back up to 5 if anyone was wondering.
I feel like what would bother me is like getting the 4.5 and then not knowing what the negative thing was. The 4.5 wouldn't bother me. I feel like 4 stars I'd be happy with. 5 stars I'm obviously happy with, but what would bother me is having a glowing review and then have them not say the one thing that wasn't glowing.
Yeah.
That's what would bother me, I think. But I don't really have a ton of reviews because I don't ask people for them. It's just like the only reviews I get are people that just like do it themselves, and then I'm like, oh my god, when I get the notification I'm like all
Excited.
surprised and happy because I don't really get them a lot.
So,
But
also question, and I know that we base a lot of this podcast on the wedding industry, but for me, I do everything under the sun. You need a mobile bar, I am your girl. But I know you do solely weddings. So would it be more beneficial for you to get reviews on the Knot or Wedding Wire or things like that? Or is Google more beneficial?
Google would be best, or
Yeah.
Facebook.
Oh, really?
I have a bunch of reviews on Facebook. Yeah, probably half of them are on Facebook and half of them are
Interesting.
on Google.
Why do you feel Facebook is better?
Oh no, I don't think it's better.
Okay.
But it's not bad. But like the Knot, Wedding Wire, Zola, all of those, like I kind of could care less if my review was on that because I'm not looking for clients on those. I'm probably going to delete my accounts in this slow season, or I guess refresh the pictures because I haven't touched them at all since I made the accounts like 2 years ago. And I don't get inquiries from there. Any notifications I get in my email, I just delete straight up. Like I don't even look at inquiries that I get from there. Yeah. I don't think that they're real. Some of them definitely are. Whoa, my dog is looking at something out the window. Some of them definitely are real. I've had couples book with me who are from those websites, but they were from when I was starting very early on. And I just feel like websites like that, they don't really get to know you personally. They just look at the photos from your business and they're like, I think they're just like shopping around for deals. And I would want somebody to really connect with me from my stories on Instagram or see a friend of a friend post a good review on my Facebook and then be like, oh, and dive into it from there. I don't know. I just feel like the Knot is a scam because you have to pay for it and there's this contract that you can't get out of. It's scammy to me, but Zola is free, and so I do prefer that one, but it's the same thing. Yeah. I don't think you really get to know who you're booking with at all unless you really like stalk them online, and if they're stalking you online, then I think they probably would have found you
regardless. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's funny you say this because this was actually my first year that I joined the Knot, and I'm so angry at myself because
I remember you were saying that you joined it. I was like, okay. I like didn't want to put any bad vibes out there.
The only reason I joined it, and this sounds silly, but there were other mobile bars on it, and I felt like the mobile bar industry is still very small. So I was going to be on, if someone's searching Connecticut mobile bar, I'll probably be on the first page because there's not many of us.
Right.
So in my head, I thought that was a plus. But again, I've gotten a few. I've not gotten any actual leads from it. I have gotten some where they put a request through my website and it said they found me on the Knot.
Yeah.
So like I do get that,
Yeah.
which I think is okay. But I'm only paying like $32 a month for it. So it's not like I'm paying a crazy amount. They wanted like $120 at first.
Yeah, that's actually really,
I was like,
$30
okay.
is actually really good. I
Well-
don't remember what I paid, but I think I paid like $2,000 for the year
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
Mine was like, I think 1,200, whatever it is divided by
Yeah.
12. That is the only reason I did it. Cause I like used my previous sales background to
Right.
get the price negotiated, but I do not recommend being on the Knot. I really don't. I agree with you. I don't think our potential clients are on there. As a bride, I was on there, but I don't think I found any of my vendors from there.
I think as a bride, it probably gives you some kind of like safety. It probably makes you feel like your vendors are more credible
True.
by being on there. But like, and I'm not a bride, and so I didn't know anything about the Knot going into it. But as a vendor now, I know that the only vendors on there are paying to be on there. So there is no credibility there. It's like now that Instagram and Facebook are, I don't even know. You can get the check mark, but only if you pay for it.
Yeah.
Before, you used to get verified, like if you had a number of followers or something, and they recognized that you were credible. Now it's like you are paying for the credibility. And so it's like, what is it worth? It's not worth anything. It's like rigged.
Is so stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I agree.
But I agree with you where you said the whole credibility thing. I just recently listened to a podcast and she's a motivational speaker and she says that the one thing that people really look at is, are you present on social media?
Yeah.
And it's so true. Like, focus your attention more on social media rather than the aspect of the Knot wedding wire. And I do get a good amount of leads from Zola, but what I found is if they really want to book with me, or I could be proactive because you have to pay to respond on Zola, like $10 or whatever it is.
Really?
Yeah, now you do.
Oh.
They changed it.
Then I don't like Zola anymore. I take it back. I haven't been on it in 2 years.
Yeah, but
So-
what I found is if I don't respond and they do really want a quote, they'll send me a quote through my website.
Yeah.
So they found me on there. Yes, it's great to be present on there, and it is free to be present on there. But in order to respond, you do have to pay.
Gotcha.
Anyway, rabbit hole.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
But this kind of does go into the next topic I want to talk about, which is marketing. So I think this is a great time to market your business because this was something that I've talked about where I just did not have the time to do during my crazy season, because I'm working on my business at that time.
Right.
No, sorry. I'm working in my business.
We're doing the
it.
service. Yeah.
Whereas now I can work on my business.
Yeah.
And I think marketing is a huge, huge aspect of your business that you cannot forget about. You cannot forget to be sharing your business. And I say this all the time. If you're not sharing your business, nobody else is. So what are ways you could share your business? I'm a huge fan of Facebook groups. I know it's like people are like Facebook's out, but that's where my clientele is. Like maybe my brides aren't on there, but the mother of the bride is on there.
You know what? I think brides are
I
on
think
there.
they are
like
too.
there are so many like wedding Facebook groups, like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, brides to be, like all of these different little Facebook groups. Like I'm in like all of the ones I could find for the area. And I go on Facebook probably like once a day, scroll for like 10 minutes and like see brides that are like, hey, I'm looking for a photographer December or whatever, the date and the location. And then if I'm free, I'll put my name in it. But I like what you do though. You like make your own post in it. I haven't really done that. I've only done that a couple times.
So I found that so there's a time and place because Facebook has these like rules. It's like crazy. Like you can't post your business except for Fridays between 10 and 11 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
I'm being dramatic, but there are a lot of like rules and I've gotten kicked out. I laugh because I just think it's so funny. I actually got, I didn't get kicked out. I got like flagged where I couldn't post for like a week I live in Trumbull and it was like one of the Trumbull moms pages. And I'm just like, I think because I posted on Thursday instead of Friday. And I'm like, really? Like, I get it. Like, they probably don't want it spammed, but like, I don't know. It was so dramatic. And I'm also like a vendor in Trumbull. Like, it's not like I'm posting in Reading and I don't live in Reading. Anyway, so, but
it's also not like you post in there every Thursday or every day.
Yeah. So dramatic. God. That mom doesn't like me, apparently. But anyway, I do have to say the mom groups are huge.
For
I don't know if moms are booking weddings, but maybe their daughters are getting married or whatever.
Yeah.
But they all know friends too. So like any group that you can get into on Facebook, and there's literally a group for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've now gotten into like horseback riding groups.
Oh,
It's
that kind
wild,
of that
but
kind
it
of makes sense. Yeah, because if somebody's gonna do like a birthday party
Yeah.
or something, like your trailer
and
would
they
fit
ride
perfect.
horses. Yeah.
Wow.
Or if they have a barn and they are doing like, you know, an October event, like a fall, whatever.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So like just think of the bigger picture. Like there's so many New England Facebook groups.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
you never know who's going to need a wedding photographer or a mobile bar, but just you never know who's going to know who's going to talk about your business.
Right.
And we've talked about this in the past. Like I'm not expecting to post and get a booking. I'm expecting to post for someone to see it and then in 6 months from now tell someone, oh my God, I saw a mobile bar who posted in this Facebook group that I'm in, and here's her contact information.
And that's exactly how Pinterest works too. It's like you're not going to probably get direct bookings from a bride finding you on Pinterest, but they're going to see your photo. They're going to save it to a board. Then Pinterest is going to recognize that you did that, and then it's going to show you more photos from that photographer. And then you're going to save that to your board. And then before you know it, like your whole feed is going to be spammed with this photographer's work to the point where you're going to be like, oh, I need to follow them on Instagram. You follow them on Instagram. And then just like you said, like 6 months or whatever goes by, then they might book you, or they might send you to a friend or a friend or a friend or whatever. So don't sleep on Pinterest, because that's something that I didn't really grasp. I think Pinterest is something that like most people or most women, most people use Pinterest just for fun.
Yep.
And as a business, like I've heard people talking about Pinterest, like don't sleep on Pinterest. And I didn't really get it. I was like, I'm not going to get any bookings from Pinterest. Like that's stupid. But after working with this girl, and she like drilled that into my head, and she was like, no, you don't understand. Like people are going to find your work, and then the algorithm's going to do its thing. And then before you know it, people are going to be going to your website. People are going to be going to your Facebook, your Instagram. And that's the goal. The goal is not like Pinterest followers or like Pinterest likes. The goal is like clicks and people finding the things that you link it to. And I was like, whoa. And now I get it.
If you remember, it is engagement season. And what is the first thing you do when you get engaged? I'm pretty sure you
go on Pinterest.
You don't start a Pinterest board because you already have a wedding Pinterest board. I had like 10 before I even got married. One for rings, one for dresses, one for location, all the things. So you're going to update those Pinterest
one for
boards.
the dance floor, and then we'll see bars and stuff like that. So it goes for every business. I mean, it's like the top place for like a photographer, I feel like, but like with you, like you have all of these photos from all of these content days. Like I would not be upset if you posted one of my photos on Pinterest, because then they're going to see my photo too. So as long as you like credit me on your blog or wherever it's linked to.
That is a huge thing, because again, going back to the vendor connections and relationships, like you're both working with each other.
Yeah, it's a win-win for you to get popular on Pinterest.
Yes. So work with your local vendors, work with your faves. But yeah, moral of the story, don't sleep on Pinterest.
Yeah.
And then kind of the last thing that I want to talk about is just debriefing from the whole year. Like I know this episode's going to come out like right around the end of the year, beginning of the new year. And I think you have to reflect on how amazing your year was. Like we talked about how crazy we were. We talked about how it was a wild season for us, but like I have to appreciate, like I built my business even bigger than it was before. Like my dream was to have 2 trailers. I have 2 trailers. Like I am booking both of them for next year now. This year was like, I didn't officially start booking the trailer until June 17th to be exact, because that was the day that I had both trailers out.
Right.
And I was like, okay, we got this. Prior to that, I was just like so nervous of doing both of them, because I was new to it. I didn't know what I was doing, and change is scary for anyone. So this was really my first year of like actually booking both of them, and I can't wait to see like how that pans out. Like, you know, am I going to have a lot more, hopefully, but like, how is that going to look, you know? And that was like interesting for me to like really grasp. But there's also like things that like I want to change, and like I have to do updates of the bar. Like this is now the third year. My first trailer has a lot of wear and tear to it. So this is going to be the year that I'm really, you know, fixing the bar top and painting things and probably getting new tires, like just things
Right.
that like you don't really think of. And this goes back to, I charge a rental for the trailer, and this is where that budget is coming from. Like this is why you have to make sure that you're charging accordingly to your business, because there are going to be things that you need to update during your off season.
Right.
And then just like, you know, do I like the system of how the girls set everything up? Like, does it work for them? Like having a conversation with my team, being like, what do you like? You mentioned like doing a review to the clients. Like I need to do that with my girls, being like, what can I do better to make it easier for you? Like, when you arrive to the event, is it set up for success for you?
Right.
When you clean up, is it easy? Like those are things that I couldn't ask them because I was just so crazy. But like, I'm actually just literally thinking about this now.
No,
but
that's
like,
a great idea.
You know, like
you want to make sure that they're having a good experience too, because if they feel weird in any way, then like, what if they don't come back next year? Yeah. Right. You want to make sure that they're happy.
100%. And like, they are the representation of my business. And it's funny when at the big event, that was like the one time that I get to see the business where I'm not behind the bar, I'm not working. I actually get to enjoy the business and I get to see it in action. And it was funny because someone came up to me, and it was actually Adam with Nutmeg 10. If you've ever worked with him or her, he is like the funniest person in the entire world. So he had already, I think, had 2 drinks at that point. And we were doing the apple cider margaritas where we put caramel and brown sugar on the rim, and we put dehydrated apples. Like it's just, it's as pretty as it tastes. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And he was like, you don't got to do all the fancy stuff. And my bartender was like, yeah, I do. And they knew each other too. And he was like, no, it's fine. Like, it's fine. And he's like, no, like you're walking around with this drink. It represents the vintage horse. Like, and he came up and told me that. And I was like, that's my girl.
Good.
Like,
yeah.
She knew that this was important to me.
Right.
She knew that every drink that comes out of our bar needs to look the same. And we do get that a lot. Like people are like, I don't need the garnish. I don't need this. I don't need a straw. I don't need whatever. And like, we allow it to happen, but like from start to finish at the end of the night, like our drinks need to look the same. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but
no,
like,
I love to hear this. This is so interesting.
Yeah. It's just like reminding them how important this is to me, which they do know, but like everyone needs the reminder. And like, it's the little details that stand out in the business. And I just did a reel on Instagram, and it was talking about like someone finding, I think it was like not booking with me and being like, I found something cheaper that does the same thing. And I like posted, I was like, we are not the same. And it's true. Like I go above and beyond. Like, yes, maybe you'll find pricing lower somewhere else, but is that person going to put in the detail that I put into my business? And I want to make sure that my girls understand that. I understand that. Like there's times where I'm just like, we're so crazy busy. Like I don't want to garnish every single drink with a cinnamon stick and, put whatever.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But it's important because maybe that's the first drink for that person.
True.
Who just came up to the bar for the first time.
And also the client's paying for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you got to make sure that like your consistency and everything is the same, because the client is paying for each and every drink and item that's included, right? Yeah.
So I think it's just important, like, during the off season, just like remind yourself how amazing you did, how hard you worked, like allow yourself to enjoy like the fruits of your labor. Is that where I'm going with it?
Yeah. And then think about what can I do better, and think about like, oh, this year went really well, but how could I make it even better next year? And that's what I'm thinking about a lot too. And just to go off of what you said, I'm thinking about the exact same thing with a second shooter guide. A lot of photographers make guides for their second shooters to be like, these are my expectations and whatever. And I've never done that before because I've always worked with friends and just people that kind of get it. But you're right. Like there are probably some things that are in my head that might not be in everybody else's head. But like if I don't communicate it to them, and even if it's like a thing that I think is obvious, like it might not be obvious to somebody else, or vice versa. Like they might have like some feedback even on the guide and be like, oh, you didn't include this. Is this important to you? And they'll be like, oh crap, you're right. Like there's just, it just opens up the door for communication. So if you're a photographer and you're listening to this, like everything that we say, like, it's probably specific to our businesses, but like think about it in how can I apply that advice that Jen just gave about her cocktails to my photography business? Because you can, like, if you don't have a photography guide, like for your second shooters, like that's a huge thing that you could do to make your business better next year. And got to admit that I don't have that yet, but like I'm going to.
Yes. And I think that goes for anything. Like, even I don't have a checklist for myself at every single event. Like, that is the simplest thing. And I think I just am so programmed to, okay, I know that I need my shakers, which I did forget one time, not going to lie. I know I need my bar mats. I know I need a bottle opener. I know I need these certain things, which are usually already in the trailer. But like, if I had a checklist just to be like, okay, got that, like that would be so much easier. But I've just been so crazy that it just, but now that I'm going to have so many events moving forward, putting that into the universe, I'm going to be so crazy. And my goal is to not be at every event.
Right.
So I need to set myself up to not stress the day before the events when I'm probably going to be dropping off 2 trailers places, when I'm going to be having to logistically think like, okay, I have to drop this trailer off at this time, this trailer, like those are going to be the important things, not do I have my bottle opener? Like those are things that I need to, and then I don't have a checklist for the girls. Like maybe, I mean, it's not their job to remember everything like it is my job. So I should have a check. Like, I think this just goes back to like setting your business up for success during this season. Is so important.
It's not a season of doing your service, but it's a season of building your service and like making your service better. Yeah. I love that. And I think anyone can attest to like these are things that need to be done during off season, because you just have more time to think about it, and you have more time to be able to like really debrief everything. And some of these things take a lot of time too, like redoing your website or like working with a photographer. Like these things take time. Like you probably won't get your photos back for 2 weeks or so or more. So there are things that like you don't have, not even like you're crazy busy, you don't have time for it, but like they are things that like will take you like a week at your computer to redo your website. Like it's just crazy. So there's no other time to do it. No. This is the time to do it.
So in recap, you are still here with us. Thanks for listening. But do the things that you can't do. And trust me, this is now my 3rd quote unquote off season. It goes by so fast.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be talking in a few months and we're going to be like starting our first events again.
I know.
And we're going to be like, wait, we just had a conversation that we were going into an off season. Like, you find time to like keep yourself occupied in different ways. Like I'm going to Miami in February. Just booked my flight.
Cool.
But like we're gonna find other things to keep our times busy. But make sure you do the things that you want to do. Like do it in January. I mean, I'm a big component of like starting my year off. Like I'm one of those people who starts a vision board for the year and like all the things.
New Year's resolutions.
Well, I do a word every year. So last year my word was inspire, which I feel like
you did for
lived
sure
up to that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to what my word's going to be this year, but we should do that in the next episode.
We should.
Well, like the first.
Well, our next episode will be. It'll be January 1st.
Okay, so to be. So
I love that. To be continued.
Thank you. Oh my God. My coffee hasn't set in today yet. But anyway, so just do all the things that you want to do, like that you could not do during the year. That's basically recapping what this episode is about. And just know that if you are going to an off season, like you are not alone. You are not the only one.
Yep.
It's hard, but it's a season of your business that you need.
Yep. Not everybody is busy. You got to make yourself busy. And so that's what this whole episode was about, was ways to make yourself busy and make your business better and still keep working and keep marketing, because you should never stop.
No, and this is definitely the time to do it. So get in those Facebook groups, get more on social media if you can, if that's something you want to do.
Blog.
Yep. Blog, do all the things.
I guess that's it.
Yeah. We're gonna end because now we're rambling.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in. We are also looking for guest speakers. We don't have any lined up. We have some in the works, but if you are interested in being a speaker on our podcast, if you're in the wedding industry or event industry in general and think that, you want to share your story with us, let us know. Slide into our DMs.
Yeah. We'd love to have you.
We'd love to have you. So
cheers.